Welcome into a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Timmy Whispers is here again.
That's right.
Good to see you. What you been up to?
Well, long weekend. Went to the Indy 500 again.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It was great. It was, it's not like F1, so you got that, just one track, but there's changes and leads and who's going to win. Even at the very end, it gets very intense. Lots of crashes, tires flying, a lot of beer drinking. It's a complete human zoo. It's awesome.
Now, were you on the track?
We're usually just a few rows back from the pits every year, and so by turn,
You're a big shooter.
Oh yeah, it's big time, but it's great because.
Now, how many times have you been to the Indianapolis 500?
Oh, over a dozen times.
You never asked me and Mark to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I keep
Selfish
a lot of things to
bastard,
myself.
It went the way of the cookout over Memorial Day.
Oh, Mark, did you hear about the cookout?
No, I didn't hear
Mark,
about it.
Mark, you didn't get an invite?
No.
Okay, Mark, America.
I'm going to pay no mind now.
America.
You have to invite yourself.
Listen, Mark. I barged in. Hey, listen. Hey, what about Bob? That was me. Yeah. I just broke into the house. I didn't ask nobody. I didn't ask can I come over. I just showed up. Me and Mike, my limousine driver. Yeah. Mike came over. Mike was like, hey, I'm sure. Did anybody invite, Mark and the boys? And Tim's like, no. And I didn't even invite Stacey.
Yeah.
I didn't invite me, but I just came over. I was like, I'm coming over one way or the other. You got to call the police on me, bro.
What'd your wife say when Stacey rolled in with Mike?
She was like, oh, God.
No. She was happy to see me.
Yeah.
They were all happy to see me, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but they're like, who's Mike? I'm like, which is great.
And where are the Doublemint twins?
The Doublemint twins, yeah. We put a phone call out to them. They were busy.
Okay. Well, of course, I've known Mike for a long time. He walks out, I give him a hug, and then my family's leaving me like, all right, we get Stacey, but who's Mike? Like, Mike's great. Mike had a good time. It was
a hostile takeover at the Kelley abode.
So I had two barbecues that day. My younger son had a barbecue over at his place. Shout out to Brandon King. He was out there grilling, and he needs a little work on the grill. Yeah, a little work. 5 out of 1 to 5 stars, I gave it a 3.
Things get a little burned, dried out.
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. The whole house almost caught on fire. No. Let me tell you something. See, when you have kids doing this stuff, they get to talking to their friends, and they get to talking, and their minds off of what's on the grill. Yeah. So supposedly his girlfriend Gladys was supposed to be watching these Korean steaks, and then she left, and then he left, and so all of a sudden you see all this smoke come up and you fire, and I'm all yelling, code blue, 911, and he's like, hey, where's Gladys? And they're arguing about who was supposed to be sitting there watching the thing. And so then he comes over to me and said, hey, Dad, that's why if you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
Well, the worst thing is you get a nice cut of meat, and you're looking forward to eating it, and then it gets burned and dried out.
And let me tell you what he told me. Let me tell you what he did to me, okay? As many times have I had UFC fights, America, and pizzas, beer, I put on a show for them to come over. They don't never have,
right, Mark?
Yeah, they never see, you know what?
I'm still waiting for that invitation too.
Me too.
America, don't listen to these clowns. So the first thing he does, he said, Dad, we're having a little get together. You want to come over for Memorial Day? I said, yeah, sure. He said, but you can't come over empty handed.
Oh, come on.
And I was like,
bring the steaks,
wait a minute,
bring some beer.
So I go, are you serious? As many times as you've come over to my house and ate me out of house and home like a termite, you got the nerve and audacity to tell me to bring something? I said, okay.
Don't come empty handed.
So don't come empty handed. So I said, so if I bring some potato salad, would that be good? Yeah. He said, no. No one's gonna eat potato salad. I said, how about some Coronas, like a case of Coronas, some extra burgers?
No.
I was like, boy, y'all some selfish kids, man. Woo, Lord have mercy. But yeah, it was good.
Bring you the coronavirus.
Yeah, hey.
I got plenty of that.
I tell you, but we had fun. It's fun. The invite Tim sent you is probably still in the mail.
Yeah.
Probably by pigeon.
I sent it out today.
A little pigeon. He just threw it out there. The pigeon probably ran into a wall.
Well, I couldn't have come anyway. I was holding down the fort at Channel 7.
You working?
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Him.
Well, we used the Traeger, got those ribs all perfect, and then there was one major mistake.
Next time, Whispers, I'm sure that you
won't
forget to.
Mark, I was looking out for you. I said, hey, let's get the guys out here, Mark and the boys out here.
So he doesn't offer his house. He makes me promise.
And he goes,
the podcast cookout.
He goes, no.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, hard to continue. Hard to continue after that, but we'll
look at the kids out there. Like, wow,
we'll try to soldier on.
Look at the face.
They don't believe you.
They didn't believe me. They believe me.
They know how
look at the sweatshop. Look at the sweatshop out there. We do all this work for these guys, and Whispers don't even invite me over for some ribs. Wow,
wow.
Man.
Morale is just sunk.
Morale is down right now, baby. Morale is down. Hang in there, guys.
Hey, let's talk a little basketball. Some news was made over the past week. Lonzo Ball, like so many other people, has started a podcast. He's had a couple of episodes, and in the first one, he said he was at about 70%. And in his latest episode last Friday, he revealed a little bit more about the procedure that he hopes will get him back on an NBA floor. Let's listen to what Lonzo had to say on his podcast.
It started with a meniscus tear. Basically started on the Lakers when I tore it the first time. Tore it a couple more times to a point to where there was no more meniscus left and bone on bone was rubbing. So the cartilage was gone and the bone was messed up. So I had to get new meniscus from a donor. I had to get a bone allograft, and I had to get some new cartilage put in as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is an experimental kind of procedure, and I think there was only one other NBA player that's had a chance to do this procedure, try to get back on the floor. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but you like the fact that his attitude is positive, that he thinks that this is the one that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I felt so bad for him when he had to go through those multiple surgeries to try to find out what was wrong, and it didn't look good, and this was a surgery that, there's not a lot of it. There's not a lot of background on this surgery, and you don't know if it's going to work or not. And to be able to see him, stand up, sit without any pain early on, and then I saw him, shooting at the Advocate Center. Saw him on the road in L.A. He looked like he was moving a lot better, and the confidence in his leg is there. I even saw where he said on his podcast that he's ready to go now. If he had to play right now, he could play right now. And that was encouraging. So if you're a Bulls fan, that's got to be encouraging for you to think this kid's going to be back here. Again, temper the excitement. He's going to be on a minutes restriction basis, and we don't know how long that's going to be. But trust me, I don't think you'll see him playing back-to-backs. I don't think you'll see him playing a lot of heavy minutes early on.
There is a high success rate though with this surgery.
What do you know about it, Tim?
Well, it actually has been around for a while, and it's fairly common with usually situations where the meniscus gets literally pulled off the bone, and so there's not a chance to repair. You're not getting a clip. You're not getting it trimmed down. You're going to have to remove it and replace it. And so just finding the right donor is the tricky part, but then getting it in and letting it heal right. And if they put it in the right way, and he was talking about allograft, so they're actually mending it to the bone with staples and so forth, and usually putting a layer of stem cells in there to have it grow into the bone, and he should be good to go. The way to think about it is like tires on a car, wear down, they can get blown out. But if he's got a new tire, he's good to go.
Well, and in fact, he had no cartilage. It was bone on bone.
It was gone, yeah.
And you can't function that way.
Yeah,
that's what caused Brandon Roy to
completely
retire
out.
after 5 years.
Yes, and that's, if you're Brandon Roy, you're like, where was this surgery when I was playing? Because his career was cut way short, and probably would have had a Hall of Fame career. I felt like at one point, he was better than Dwayne Wade. He was further along than Dwayne Wade, and those injuries just kind of derailed him. And it's good to see that Lonzo's in good spirits. He wants to play. He's been out of the game for a while. What is he now? What's his age now?
26.
So it's been 3 years probably since.
Yeah, it was January of 22 that he got hurt.
Yeah, so he's been out a long time, and I know he's itching to come back, but you still have to temper the excitement. And for him, it's you've gotten through one step, and then it's another step you got to go through, and another step you got to go through to be ready for October. I think he just needs to, understand that it's going to be still a grueling situation because you haven't got out there and had the defensive slide. You haven't had to get over screens yet. You hadn't had to get, guys setting screens on you and you had to fight through chasing guys off of catch and shoot situations. There's so much the body has to get used to that he hasn't even got to that point yet. So I'm excited to see where he's at, and I'll be glad to see him in October.
The NBA draft is about 4 weeks away. We'll be talking a lot about that in the coming weeks. One bit of news came out this week. Rich Paul, who's become the power broker in the NBA, of course, is the agent for Bronny James, and he said that he will only have Bronny work out with the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Stacey, there have been reports that Phoenix might draft Bronny with their number 22 pick in the first. Well, they're thinking they can take Bronny, and LeBron will go over there for the minimum.
This is starting to become a joke. So listen, Bronny James is an NBA player, but he's not an NBA player right now. He's a guy He's one of these kids that needs to stay in school 4 years to develop.
But he's not going to.
And he's not. And if you tell me the Lakers and LeBron right now is basically telling Lakers like, yo, because he opted out. He's opted out of his contract.
Right.
So now he's putting leverage on these teams and saying, if you don't draft my son number 17, if you're the Lakers, okay, we're going somewhere else. He was at the Cleveland game, hanging out in the front row of the Cleveland game, and that's why Cleveland lost. And so, and they're putting pressure on these teams. And you're going to Phoenix and you say, okay, we get Bronny James here, we get LeBron James here. That team is not going to win a championship. I don't care if you put him on there with Kevin Durant. It's not gonna work because the fact that too many of these guys have egos. Everybody wants to score. There's not enough balls to go around on that team.
And there's no point guard either.
And there's no LeBron. Well, LeBron's going to play point.
Yeah.
And think about how many guys are going to get frustrated with that. Him bringing the ball up every single time. Walking the ball up the floor. And then not playing defense and not hustling back on the defensive end. That's tired. It's played out. If you're the Lakers, I'm saying, look, if Bronny is a free agent, we're not drafting him 17. Okay, because LeBron James may not be here in 2 years. That 17 pick could parlay into something else. That 17 pick could be a star player that's in his draft that someone's overlooking because there's been some really good players later in the draft get picked up. I'm not drafting Bronny James at 17. You can wait and get him as a free agent. No one's going to draft him.
Somebody will though because they think that's going to bring LeBron.
Then you're as a general manager, you're going to be fired.
Yeah,
you're going to be fired as a general manager because LeBron James has only got probably maybe 2 years of good basketball left in his body. Okay. What he's done now is amazing playing this long, but you can see the wear and tear is catching up with him. He's not doing the things he was doing, 5 years ago. He doesn't play defense like he used to. Okay. And they're not winning. I mean, you had Anthony Davis. That team that they had in LA this year was a team. And I said, if they didn't play Denver, they probably could have went, a lot further in the other side of the conference finals. But that team was good enough to get past the first round, get past being in a play-in game situation. That team should have been a top 4 team in the Western Conference, and LeBron James is a spearhead. But you can't miss as many games as they do. LeBron sits out a lot of games. Anthony Davis Anthony Davis is a team. And if I'm the Lakers, I'm building around Anthony Davis. I'm not drafting Bronny James. I'm sorry, LeBron. We love you. If this means you're going to leave us, say la vie, okay? Because we cannot invest a 17 pick in a kid who's everyone knows the scouts, everyone says is not draftable player right now.
And Rich Paul said he will not sign a 2-way contract. It has to be a standard NBA.
No, you know what?
So he doesn't want to play in the G League.
Yeah, Rich Paul.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, because we're not going to be held hostage. If you're the Lakers, you're not going to be held hostage.
The kid's got to play in the G League. That's where his next step is logically.
That's the next step for him because listen, when you only averaged 4 points at USC and you came off the bench and you weren't the star player in high school.
The Phoenix GM is getting fired anyhow, so you might as well give it a shot.
Well, James Jones is the former teammate with LeBron James.
Yeah, Miami.
So there's a connection there. So and that owner for Phoenix loves star power. He wants star power. And if you can get LeBron James, if that means we got to take Bronny James, so be it. Bronny James, they probably put Bronny James at the point guard spot and let him be the point guard of those 4 guys.
No.
Listen, I'm not saying, America, I'm not saying Bronny James can't play. I'm not saying he's not going to be
he's not ready now.
But he's not physically ready to be an NBA player right now. He would have to, in my opinion, he'd have to go to be a 2-way player. I mean, is he better than Austin Reeves right now? No, exactly. You look at some of the 2-way players that are playing, G.G. Jackson, these kids who went and played the G League, now they're on active rosters. He's not better than those kids. So if you're Lakers, why would we draft him at 17? We got Austin Reeves there. We got D'Angelo Russell, and we've got plenty of players at that position.
Yeah, because LeBron is calling the shots. That's
LeBron.
He's holding them hostage.
You know what? And that's why your organization is where it is. That you can't. If Kobe Bryant was here right now, Kobe Bryant, there would be no talking about Bronny James going 17. Believe that. Hey, Kobe Bryant would be in Jeannie Buss's office, and he'd be telling her, "Listen, we got to trade LeBron. He's tearing the franchise up. We're going to be set back. If he leaves, he can leave at any time he wants to, and that's going to set your franchise back. So you might as well say, okay, LeBron, if you want to go play in Phoenix, then we're going to get assets. Because if I was the general manager, I would have traded him a long time ago. I would have tried to get as much assets as I could from LeBron James. You could have got a whole boatload too.
Well, Philadelphia has a ton of cap space. There's been talk that they're going to go after Paul George. There's even some wild rumors that LeBron might go there. I can't see LeBron going all the way over to the East Coast playing for the 76ers with Joel Embiid. That makes no sense to me. But the Paul George thing makes a little bit of sense.
Paul George, I could see Brandon Ingram. I know there's Jimmy Butler talk. Pat Riley hasn't yet said if they're going to re-sign Jimmy to the maximum contract deal. So that's up in the air. They definitely need a small forward. Tobias Harris is really not getting it done for him.
And he's a free agent.
He's a free agent, and he made a lot of money there. And they chose him over Jimmy in the first place. I think with Jimmy Butler right now, Jimmy's on the decline. You hate to say it, but he's on a decline. He plays probably 60 games a year. And had he played more games this year, maybe Miami's better. And I think that's when you heard Pat Riley's press conference. That was one of the things they talked about is showing up, being accountable, playing games, not sitting out. And that's really frustrating. That's why you hear Jimmy's name now being possibly on the move in Miami.
Let's talk about the playoffs going on right now. We could have an unprecedented feat of 2 sweeps in the conference finals. We are taping our show on Tuesday evening. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals going on right now between the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. And I think one of the members of our panel predicted that Minnesota was going to win it all last week. Remember that, Stacey?
Who said that?
I think the guy right in the middle.
Yeah.
Look at Whispers. I thought you were going to dump it on Whispers.
First of all, Whispers, when nobody said he was asleep. Okay? America. Listen, let me tell you something, America.
Who is Timmy Whispers? That's the big question.
Yeah, who is he? Yeah, who is he? Listen, America, I did not expect Minnesota to disappear like this. They had a huge win against Denver. Denver was a favorite to come out of the West. They easily beat them, And then the biggest problem with Minnesota is Karl Anthony Towns, and this is what kills me. This is what kills me about these big guys. Oh, give me that. So these big guys like Karl Anthony Towns who have size advantage over everybody, you still want to shoot threes.
Yeah.
He's probably shooting 18% from the 3-point line.
That's what he is shooting.
And he keeps shooting them. It's like, dude, go in the paint. 4 of 32, 12.5%. Get in the paint, dude. Get in the paint. You're trying to get to the NBA Finals. You can shoot threes next year in an 82-game season. But right now, Anthony Edwards needs help. You need to establish a post game. Nas Reed is a better 3-point shooter than Town.
Oh, by far.
Let him shoot it. Get your big ass in the paint, post up, and take advantage of mismatches. Look at him. He's floating around on the perimeter like a guard. We're watching it right now, America. And this is what frustrates me about big guys in this league. You got so many of these big guys that almost are like anemic to the paint. They do not want contact in the paint. They don't want bodies on them. They just want to just jack it up from the 3 because that's what analytics says. Shoot threes. Listen, if you're not shooting league average, you shouldn't be shooting threes. Seriously. If I was a coach in this league and I had a player that's shooting 31%, 30% or below that, I'd tell him, listen, man, I hate to break this to you. You're not a 3-point shooter. Okay, let's get in the paint.
Yeah.
Pick and roll, dive cut, switch with the guards. We're going to throw it to you every single time. Every time you got a mismatch, we're going to throw it to you inside. You'll get 30 points and you'll get 30 shots a night in the paint. But if you're not shooting league average, stop shooting freaking threes, dude. Stop.
Well, the Bulls have a guy like that.
He should stop shooting threes.
Yeah.
He should have stopped shooting threes this year. Because now, Vooch, this year was an anomaly with Vooch. He normally is a better 3-point shooter than he was this season, okay? But once you went through about 50 games and you saw your average still stay below the league average, I mean, it was like, I think he was
29%.
Of all the players, the 100 players that shot over 150 threes, he was dead last. So right there, if you're analytics, you say, okay, what is it about this guy? Is he rushing his shot? Is it just this is just one of those years he just can't hit something? It doesn't matter because it's hurting your team. If you're not hitting threes and you're shooting at a low level and you're much more effective, when he's in the paint, no one can stop him. No one can stop him in the paint. And he continues to shoot those threes. And you see the numbers right there. I don't know if there's a bunch of mumble jumbo up there. So
he shot 29.4 on 3-pointers for the year.
Okay, and that's not even league average. And I think he's above 34% as a career in career threes.
We had that one year when he first came over, he shot 40%, and that was kind of like fool's gold.
Yeah. Because he went in Orlando, he played more in the post. The last year in Orlando, he got up a lot of threes. And then he came here his first year and then almost doubled that production in three-point shooting. And now he's become a three-point shooter instead of a post player. And, common sense says, listen, if I go 0 for 6 here in the first half, I better start getting in the paint and get some more higher percentage shots because when he gets in the paint, it forces double teams. If I set a screen roll on a point guard, let's just say it's Derek White from Boston, and he's guarding Io, and I set a screen on Derek White, and they switch because every NBA team switches. The guard is going to take Vooch. If Vooch doesn't dive into the post or the big guy doesn't dive into the post, you take away a mismatch right there, okay? Once you get in the post, you throw it into Vooch. Vooch scores easy or he's going to get fouled. If they double, he finds open shooters. That's how the good three-point shooter teams get wide open shots. They get mismatches, exploit them, force you to help or dive down and dig and help. They find the shooters in the corner wide open.
Speaking of good three-point shooting teams, the Boston Celtics were one of the best in the NBA throughout the regular season, and they sweep the Indiana Pacers, which is kind of misleading. All those games were close. Indiana basically gave away 2 games with bad mistakes down the stretch. But the Celtics are going to go into the finals with a record of 12-2, heavily favored. They didn't even have Kristaps Porzingis for the first 3 rounds. He's going to have 10 days to get ready for the finals. That just gives them another weapon. To me, I know Dallas has been very good in the Western Conference final, but Boston's got to be an overwhelming favorite with Porzingis back.
I'm calling it right now. The Mavericks will win that series. Guaranteed.
we got a new segment. Stacey said Minnesota was going to win last week. So
Mark, stop draining on my parade, okay? Guaranteed, America. I'm going to tell you, this is the reason why I said Dallas is going to win. Dallas's spacing in these series has been unbelievable. When you have 2 guys like Luka and you have Kyrie Irving, you have a go-to guy, a finisher at every end of quarter, every last second shot. One of those guys can take the shot and make it. At the end of games, you can go tit for tat. Okay, you go this time, you go that time. And they've learned how to play with one another. They learned how to play off each other. And then you got those 2 big guys, Lively and Gafford, that when they run pick and rolls, they're going to the rim with deadly intentions. Luka threw a lob the other day for the 3-point line. And Gafford, I thought it was going out of bounds. And then Gafford swung like George of the Jungle and caught it and dunked the ball. And I was like, wow, he was here.
He was here at one point.
Him and Derek Jones.
Second-round draft pick at Arkansas.
Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah.
That's why you can't give up on young talent, man. You got young talent, man. You gotta nurture that. You gotta nurture them, and you gotta see where you can take that kid because they have made a huge impact. Both Derek Jones Jr. and Gafford has made a huge impact on Dallas's team, especially on the defensive end. Then you look at P.J. Washington, who gives them another good defensive player that can match up against anybody on Boston. He can guard Brown. He can guard Tatum. And those guys are going to have a hard time guarding Luka, and they're going to have a hard time guarding Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, but they have really good backcourt defenders with Drew Holiday and White.
Yeah, but Drew going up against Uncle Drew. Well, I don't know about that matchup, Mark, because he's on a different level right now. Because after Anthony Edwards said, I can't wait to get I'm guarding Kyrie. Kyrie been lighting his ass up this whole series.
You know what's really impressed me? Tatum is great. He gets his numbers almost every night, but he's kind of one of those guys where he'll be hot for a while and then he'll disappear. The guy that's impressed me is Jaylen Brown. Because watching him over his career, there were times in big games where he didn't really produce. He wanted the ball late. He had that 40-point game where he just basically pushed guys out of the way going to the rim. I mean, he's playing physical and he wants the ball, and that's what the Celtics need to get all the way to that championship.
He has improved tremendously. He's the highest paid player in the league, got that big contract, so he's got to answer that contract. No one's really talking about that.
Yeah.
But the one thing I can see him being exploited, his ball handling is not that good. It's still one of his weakest parts of his game, and he does not like to go to his left hand. He starts to go to his left, he starts to lose the ball, and I guarantee you the scouting report, whoever wins this series here is going to know, like, hey, listen, we want to get this guy out of rhythm. We don't want him catching and shooting and raising up from the three-point line in transition, walking into three-point shots. You want to pick him up. You want to make him have to handle the ball and make decisions off the bounce. That's where he struggles.
Stacey's giving a lot of guarantees today, Tim.
Yeah, a lot of guarantees.
Yes, a lot of guarantees. And I guarantee that Mark will be invited to the next Gimme Whispers barbecue.
Wow.
I guarantee. I don't know about the sriracha
What you
crew,
got to do, Meister's got to swing by and pick me up.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. We got to pick up everybody. We just bum rush. Bum rush the house. Because I went to the front door, Mark. The door was locked.
Yeah, pretend nobody's there.
Yeah. So the door was locked, right? and then they left the garage door open. That was a mistake.
Oh, that's right. You came through the garage.
I came through the garage. So I told Mike. I said, Mike, we're going to go through the garage, baby. Let's go. So Mike, we hustled in there like two little gophers. We ran in there, and all of a sudden the door wasn't locked. We just busted in. Hello, Kelley.
You heard me yell, who left the garage door open?
Yeah, I got my invitation.
Close it. Close it quick. Dirty dog.
Oh, man.
That's what friends do.
Hey, before we take a break, we want to talk about an NBA giant who was lost yesterday. Bill Walton passed away at the age of 71. And Stacey, did you ever have a chance to meet Bill?
Yes. When I was coaching in Rockford, I met him a number of times. But when I was in Rockford, he came down for a public event he was speaking at. And I got a chance, I was at the same event. I got a chance to sit down with him for an hour and just talk about the league and, talk about the great teams. He always wanted to talk about Jordan and the teams I played on. Really great personality. Just a fun guy. Like I was talking to Jason Benetti, when he did those baseball games out in Anaheim Stadium. Yeah. And what was it like sitting there talking to a guy who's like not even thinking about baseball? He's not even talking about. He's talking about the Grateful Dead. Yeah. He's talking about Coach Wooden and Benetti would always say he's one of the greatest people to be around. The energy that he brings and just the joy and the love. He said he loved working with. Wish he could do more games with him.
I tell you what, social media can be a weird thing, but the outpouring of love for this guy, when you watched him on some of the games in the last 5 or 10 years, he works with Dave Pasch, who I know Pasch worked in Chicago radio. There were times where it got a little bit uncomfortable where he was like picking on Pasch and all that. When you found out how close those guys were and how, that was just something they did as some shtick on TV. But everybody that talks about Bill just talked about how big his heart is and how generous he was and how giving he was and that he wanted to get the most out of every minute on this earth. And that's, we don't want to get too heavy here, but I mean, I think that's a lesson for everybody that enjoy what's in front of you instead of always complaining and thinking about, I wish I had this and wish I had that. Bill Walton was in pain from all his foot and back surgeries, but he would always had a positive attitude.
And only the people close to him knew he was sick.
Yeah.
Because it was a shock.
Right.
Because I thought it was like, fake news when I saw it pop up on my feed. And I'm like, what? When? Where? When was he sick? It was never, no one ever knew that, and so that's the kind of guy he was, is that, he didn't want everybody to worry about him. He didn't want all the outpouring, people, talking about it. And he went out his own way, man. And just watching him, we saw some videos of him yesterday. He was a bad dude. People don't know how good a player he was before injuries. Man, at UCLA, he was one of the most dominant players in college basketball history. Everybody thinks Kareem was, and Kareem was. But Bill Walton came right behind him and eclipsed a lot of stuff that Kareem did at UCLA.
Well, in the 73 championship game, he was 21 of 22 from the field, scored 44 points in beating Memphis State. I mean, it was just, I watched that game just with their jaw hanging out. You couldn't stop him. They threw the ball in the post. Used the backboard. He did that little turnaround bank shot. Made almost every.
Could run like a deer.
His total college record.
Yeah.
86-4.
They didn't lose a game his first 2 years that he played.
Yeah. He was dominant. And then you go to Portland. They win a championship there with the late Dr. Jack Ramsey. Dominated the 76ers. Mm-hmm. And then, just a guy, just bad luck. Then the foot injury happens. He goes out to the Clippers. They were the San Diego Clippers. They used to say Bill would be like, he'd be sitting on the sideline, with his headband on, long, shaggy hair. He's reading the newspaper, drinking coffee. he's like, I'm just chilling.
Can't play.
And then he went to Boston, and you heard, when he went to Boston, he was so grateful to be on that team.
And they all loved him.
And they all loved him. I mean, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, some of the stories you hear them talk about, but he was so grateful to have a chance to be on a championship caliber team. He accepted his role. I think he was 6th man of the year.
He was in 86.
And he accepted it. He accepted his role. He didn't need to be a starter. He was happy coming off the bench, backing up the Chief. And, just some of the stories you heard about him is unbelievable. I mean, just a great, great guy. My condolences go out to the family. Again, this is a total shock to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Well, as you guys as announcers, did you appreciate his announcing?
Oh, yeah.
There were times where he got so far off the game, you just kind of wanted him to snap back, but that was who he was.
Yeah.
So if you're watching the game that Bill Walton's working, you don't expect the traditional
it was,
call.
it was hilarious. I
No.
loved it. I remember listening to one game. He goes, "Hey, you ever feel the wind go through your hair riding in a convertible?"
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. I mean, it was like randomness.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be sitting there watching you do Pac-12 games for like the longest, like for the many, many years. And you just sit there listening to them talk, and half the time it wouldn't be about the game,
The Conference of Champions. Throw it down, big man.
Throw it down. Or not.
No, he was an entertainer, and when you see the outpouring of love and people telling great stories about Bill Walton, it makes you appreciate him even more. As Stacey said, he was a fantastic basketball player, and all the younger fans got to know him as a great broadcaster. So,
Well, one thing we didn't know though, Mark, watching the documentary yesterday, that Caitlin Clark was his daughter.
what?
His daughter looks
Okay,
exactly
first
like
of
Caitlin
all,
Clark. It was weird.
First of all, Mark, you had to be there to see this.
Yeah.
So he's telling a joke right now
Yeah.
that no one's getting. But if you saw the
I thought
documentary,
you might laugh at least.
no.
Jeez.
So you see the documentary yesterday on ESPN. His daughter looked like Caitlin Clark. She looked just like her.
It was weird.
So America, if you're trying to get Whisper's joke, it's a little dry, like jerky, but he's trying to tell a joke. And if you saw the documentary, you know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Those who didn't see it,
Well, now go look it up.
yeah, no. Those who didn't
What
see
we're
it,
watching.
just know it's Whispers who's telling the joke.
Yeah, for people who have not seen the ESPN documentary, it's a 30 for 30 part of their series. It's a 4-part thing. It's called The Luckiest Man in the World with Bill Walton. I watched a couple episodes of that. It was really good. I didn't see the Caitlin Clark thing. Typical
big friends.
Whispers dragging the show into the
In the ground. That's
It's
what
just,
I do.
yeah, we let him drive the bus, Mark, and we just ran off the rails. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
all this heartfelt emotion and Whispers just
Now
bring
Now
it
look
Yeah.
at
to
all
a
the people are
screeching
going to run
halt.
out and watch 30 for 30.
wow. This guy.
All right.
Clark.
Well, I think it's a good time to take a break, but first I want to tell you about our good friend Jeff Vukovic.
Jeff.
When it comes to being treated like royalty, Jeff will take care of all your needs, auto, home, and business. Contact nationwide insurance agent Jeff Vukovic. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. The phone number 847-825-4783. Stacey, you got a jingle in you?
Nationwide is on your side.
Oh, yeah, make it your own. That's how you do it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Booth, that was for you, baby.
Way to
Our
own it.
loyal sponsor.
Yeah.
Booth has been with us from day
That's
one.
right. And we appreciate
And
it.
we
very much.
appreciate it, Jeff. That's my guy.
So contact Jeff for all your insurance needs. We're coming back with more show and see what else Whispers can wreck. Give me the hot sauce. and roll it on.
Oh, there's more.
We talked last week about the growing popularity of the WNBA. The Sky are at home tonight. They're hosting the Seattle Storm. As we are taping this broadcast on a Tuesday, the Sky are losing at halftime 38-37. They're off to a 2-2 start. And everybody's been talking about Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese is getting a lot of attention on her own. They had a big, heated matchup against the Connecticut Sun on Saturday. And Alyssa Thomas, who's one of the stars of the league, got so frustrated with Angel Reese getting offensive rebounds, she just took her by the neck and threw her to the ground and got ejected.
And that reminded me back when I'm rookie year with Bill Cartwright in
Yeah.
veterans camp. I was running around all this energy. Hey, you better slow down. Don't do it again. I'm like, Bill, hey, you worry about yourself. And then he gave me a clothesline in the throat punch. That was it for me. So Angel Reese, with all the energy she plays with, she's playing hard. She's playing face up forward, so she's able to move around with her quickness, and she's out quicking these girls to the rim. And so these girls getting frustrated a little bit. They don't want to get shown up. These veteran players don't want to get shown up or be out hustled by younger players, and that's what's happening right now. These younger players are coming in with all this energy and this exuberance, and they're fun to watch. And there's some girls out there saying, "Hey, slow down, slow down. We're the top dogs here. You guys got to earn your right to get to where we are." So that's what you're seeing right now, Mark.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting dynamic. I mean, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and some of the other college stars coming into the league have brought a new energy to the WNBA. We talked previously about the fact now that all the teams are flying charter flights instead of commercial. They're going to get a new TV deal, which is going to bring more revenue and higher salaries into the league. And yet, I'm sure Stacey's a competitor. When somebody comes in, a rookie or whatever, and is threatening to take your spot, that does kind of bring out that motivation that, hey, I'm going to show this person that they're not ready to take my job.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a certain way you do it, though, too, Mark. It's like, hey, I'm going to show you I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you with my skill level, not brawn and, I'm stronger than you. I'm just going to throw you down. I mean, she got clotheslined. That could have hurt her. She got slammed on her head. So when you saw that foul, That was an unnecessary foul. It's one thing, like if I'm running in there, she's running in there, Mark, she gets clipped with an elbow. Girl sticks her arm out. Okay, that's part of the game because I'm boxing you out. Boom, boom. But when you literally grab somebody and throw them on their head, that's a little bit extreme, especially in women's basketball. You don't hardly ever see that kind of stuff. These hard fouls. Caitlin Clark driving to the basket and the Seattle girl hit her in the head with an elbow, going to the basket. And then I'll give this. I will say this about these young kids though, Mark. They're not complaining. You don't see Caitlin Clark saying that she's being played a certain way. She's not whining to the officials or whining to the press because she easily could do that, and say, hey, I'm getting called differently. The official letting guys, letting these girls bang me or whatever. Well, that's not a good term, bang me. That's sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll fix that in post-production.
Yeah, we'll fix that in production. But hit them hard. Hit them hard. Hit them hard. That's one thing about it's, anyway, America. Anyway, she gets hit hard. She's not complaining about it. So give these girls credit that they're not whining about it and asking for, fouls and calls. Because you see it in the NBA sometimes. When the stars get fouled a lot, you see the coaches stand up for them. You got to start calling that for my player. You got to, and they be crying for fouls. Mm-hmm. And it's good to not see those kids do that. They're playing hard. It's going to come their way. They're too talented of players. They're too talented. The one thing about Caitlin Clark, and I think she's starting to realize now, is she's got to play both ends. You can't play just be offensive minded because the other, Iowa, everybody else played defense. She's just out there just shooting. But in the WNBA, when you're a marquee player, you got to play both ends because you're going up against another top-notch guard that you're playing against. So she's got to learn how to play both ends. You can tell she's a little defensively lost. If you watch her games, sometimes she's out of position. She doesn't know where she's at. She's watching the ball, and it's not even her person she's supposed to be guarding. She's got to get in tune better defensively. And I think when she gets that done and starts growing with her offense, she's going to be a hell of a player.
And teams are going to put her in pick and roll because that's a way to get a shot in legally. You get a big setting a screen on.
Yeah. What she needs to start doing is starting balling her little fist up and giving little shots to the ribs. Vinny Johnson. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story, right? We're playing the Pistons. This is how dirty the Pistons are, right?
The Pistons.
The bad boys. The bad boys, right? So Vinny Johnson, the microwave, he got a screen set on him. Cliff Levinson set a screen on him, and Craig Hodges got a wide open jump shot. The very next time we come down and run the same play, Vinny Johnson hit Cliff. I mean, he literally slid like he's going underneath his legs and gave him an uppercut right in the 5 hole. And you know what I'm talking about. And and Cliff literally jumped like a kangaroo. And we saw it on film. And it was unbelievable that happened. But that's what happens sometimes when guys.
No call?
No call.
Yeah.
No call. And that's what happens in the NBA a lot. When somebody gets a good screen, you'll hear a guy say, like the guy who got screened, okay, do that again. I got something for you. So now in your ear, you got to go, okay, I heard him say that, so I got to protect myself at all time. But Cliff didn't protect himself at all time. He got hit in the speed bag, baby.
We're watching the Minnesota-Dallas game. In game 3, they were running down court, and Gobert just threw a shot to Doncic in the ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
Doncic. Next time he got fouled, and he's looking at him like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
And that's why he went isolated on the game-winning shot. Okay, he got payback.
Come dance with me, Rudy.
Yeah, come dance. And again, this Minnesota team is a very athletic team. But the problem with this Minnesota team, they got a lead right now, 27-18 in the first quarter. They're gonna have they got off to a great start here in the first quarter. But the problem remains is when do you play Rudy Gobert and when do you take him out of the game? When Minnesota's had between a 3 and a 5 point deficit, they have him in the game and he can't score. And so now you're basically playing 4 against 6 because he counts as the defense now. So that's why they've been struggling late in the games and not been able to close games out because they got him in the game. And the coach has no confidence in Karl Anthony Towns. How many games have you seen Karl Anthony Towns sit out in the fourth quarter for
because Naz Reid is shooting well.
Because he's not scoring. Yeah. He's not playing inside. So the coach is like, hey, we got to sit you down. We got to go with the hot man, which is Naz Reid.
Back to WNBA for just a sec. Coming up Saturday in Indianapolis, it's going to be the Fever against the Sky. So it's Angel Reese against Caitlin Clark. That goes back a couple of years when it was LSU and Iowa. Yeah. You can't see me.
Can't see me.
Point in the ring.
Yeah. Well,
that'll be interesting. It's nationally televised.
That's the first game. That's the first game. I tell you what, how many times has Caitlin Clark been on TV?
Just about.
It seems like every game is on TV.
Yeah.
Like I turn on ESPN, there she is. ESPN. I'm like, is she the only one playing? Like, how about the Aces? Like, I'm telling you, no one is talking about them or New York. They get no love for a team that's got, like, won 3 championships. They're dominating the WNBA. New York in the East is dominating. I mean, if you watch the Aces play, man, they are a fun team to watch. Becky Hammons is a hell of a coach. She's got these girls playing at a high level. I don't see anybody beating them in the next few years if they can keep that team intact.
Well, sticking with the young stars theme, Caleb Williams and the Bears going through OTAs at Hallis Hall. And I found it hilarious last week where social media was aghast that Caleb Williams had a bad day at an OTA. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is we're talking about practice.
Practice. We're just talking about practice.
Some interceptions.
Well, I'm gonna say something about that kid. That kid is special. I just watching him throw that football, watching him move around the pocket. The Bears won 7 games last year. We talked about this many times.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world that they shouldn't win at least 10. Okay, I'm going over 10.
You guaranteeing it?
I guarantee. Okay, they're going to win more than 10. Okay, so but at the same time, you got to understand he's going to have rookie mistakes. He's not going to be perfect every single time he steps on the field. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to fumble the ball. He's going to make mistakes out there. You just have to live with it. You got to remember, he's still a rookie. No matter how good the pieces around him are, he's still a rookie. The game is 10 times faster at the pro level than college. You throw an out route to a wide receiver at USC, that pass is going to get there every single time because that cornerback is not really an elite cornerback. But in every NFL team has 2 elite corners and safeties.
Right, everyone.
So now if you're late getting that ball there, it's pick 6. It's gone. So he's going to have to make adjustments of getting the ball out quicker and not staring down his receivers. Thank goodness he's got a lot of good receivers. They can look around. They're going to be open. It's a race for 1,000 yards, as DJ Moore said, and I believe him because they got a lot of guys that can get. And Doomsday, I'm telling you, from what I'm hearing about this kid, and I saw him play last year, he's a special talent. Right now he'll probably play slot. He'll probably be in the slot, but I would not be surprised if they don't move Keenan Allen into the slot,
right,
and then use Doomsday on the outside with his speed and DJ Moore's speed to stretch and open up the top of the defenses, and then be able to get Komet in the middle of the field, Swift on the outside. There's so many possibilities with a new offensive coordinator that you can do. It's going to be fun watching this team on offense.
With the popularity of the NFL, they try to keep themselves in the news 12 months out of the year. I don't know if you saw this today, Stacey, the proposal by the Players Association. They want to limit or eliminate off-season OTAs. They said they just want to have no spring organized practices and start coming to training camp a little bit earlier. I know as a professional athlete, your off seasons are precious.
Yes.
You understand where the NFL players are coming from?
Yeah, because especially if the NFL is going to add an extra game, so why would you, if you're going to add an extra game, then why would you do the OTA? You know what I'm saying? So, and then also a lot of guys get hurt in the OTAs. There's been some guys this year that torn Achilles and stuff, so they're getting hurt in the OTAs. And football is a lot different than basketball. Their contracts are not guaranteed like there are in basketball. Basketball, baseball, fully guaranteed. Where it's guaranteed in football is the signing bonus. After that, nothing's guaranteed. So these guys are playing for their livelihood. So I agree with that. I think they should cancel OTAs. What are you getting out of it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if that goes through. That's a proposal by the Players Association. We'll see what the NFL owners and coaches have to say about that, but it's something to watch in the weeks ahead. Whispers, why don't you tell the folks about a guarantee of the best hot sauce in the land?
Well, Mark, it was a bit disappointing. I've been talking for, 2 years about using codes and stocking up on sauce. And I go to this guy's Whispers house with the king over here.
Oh, you were there too?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
right. I get an invite.
Oh, jeez.
And next thing you know, the ribs come out. They look good, but there's no sauce.
There's no sauce.
You got to be kidding me.
No, this guy, he packs it up every day and he doesn't bring any home. It's insane.
There's only 10,000 bottles in the office.
Yeah. We had pig whistle, some pig whistle sauce.
I haven't killed anyone.
You got to be kidding me.
84.
It was, Mark, it was terrible.
Oh, no.
It's terrible. I told him
we're talking about Whispers, Chris. Come on, don't take it personally.
Hey, Chris, don't take it personal. But I asked for some Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yeah. Oh no.
And that was horrible.
He's going to direct competition.
I went to the competition, Mark. Give me some Sweet Baby Ray's. I cannot eat this pig whistle, whatever it was. Pig whistle, whistle pig, whatever the sauce was.
You don't go to rib syrup.
Oh, man. It was, oh, man.
No.
Oh, Chris.
It was very disappointing.
Struggling last night,
I'm
bro.
not going back. I don't care about another invite. No sauce, no walking. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it was Mark.
It's beyond belief.
Mark, it was naked ribs.
So Whispers couldn't manage to bring a box of sauce home, but tell the folks how they can get sauce.
Again, just get online, gimmethehot.sauce.com, put in the code walk-in queue and get a free bottle. It's the best way to stock up. There's plenty here. We'll ship it out. I'm going to tell Whispers. I'm going to put some in his trunk when he leaves. Unbelievable.
Man.
You'd always have some in your trunk. You'd sell it out of the back, you know?
The guy's a disaster.
It was terrible, Mark.
Again, Whispers and Christopher Walken bringing the show.
Mark, it's like ordering a banana split, and there's no bananas, and there's no chocolate sauce. It's just vanilla ice cream. That's what it was, baby.
You hear this guy saying it's horrible? He's eating these things like he's from
a
Looney Tunes cartoon.
Mark, wait a minute, Mark. So Mark, I'm leaving the party, right? You know, black people can't leave unless we bring a plate home with us, right? So I stop at his house. I say, hey, give me some of the ribs to go home. And so I made a call to my boys. Hey, did we make sure we got some Sweet Baby Ray's?
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Horrible. I make sure we got Sweet Baby Ray's. Because the ribs.
Syrup.
Listen, the ribs was phenomenal. Okay, the sauce. Even Mike was like, "Where's you guys sauce at?
Yeah, what's going on?
Where's the King's Q?
Whistle Pig sauce from Traeger.
Whistle
It's really
Pig.
good stuff. You know the whiskey. It was good, but it's not the same. I'm serious. That's really good sauce. It does not compare to this. It really does not.
I mean, they're
literally. Well, you heard me?
Did you
hear me? Did you hear me?
There's like foghorn langhorn over there.
I just can't believe that you didn't have it at home.
Yeah,
I mean, that just defies
belief.
belief.
I have a whole case in the garage.
I'm like looking everywhere. I'm like, where is?
I'm like, where's our sauce at? Yeah. I'm all excited. The ribs were awesome.
I also found out that my daughter took a couple bottles to someone's house to cook. So she cleaned out the reserves.
It's her fault.
Yeah.
And pig whistles.
I should still have more.
Pig whistle's fault. Pig whistle is terrible.
Oh,
is it a whistle pig, a groundhog or something?
We're gonna try to regroup here. We'll come back. Whispers again. We'll wreck the third segment. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
I'll do my best.
Welcome back to the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. We're trying a new feature where we let you who watch the show and listen send some questions in, and Stacey will try to answer them the best he can. I'm a spooky kitty sends in. I'd still like to ask, which player in NBA history would have the best biopic film made about them? I think Will Chamberlain would be my pick, but that's already been done a few times.
Yeah.
Well, there's some parts they missed, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, they really haven't missed.
All right, let's talk off the
we've
court.
seen Bill Russell and Pistol Pete and so many great
a good one would be Bill Walton too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, being out of the NBA.
Well, we've had that with the.
We've had Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you can have Kyrie Irving talking about werewolves and UFOs and
the world's flat.
The world's flat and all that stuff. He's kind of, anti-vaxxer. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, all the superstars really have been, given the documentary treatment. I mean, there are guys that were, guys like Charles Oakley would be interesting. The way he made his way through the NBA. Yeah. Guys that were down and dirty. Of course, we've seen the Dennis Rodman films and everything else. I don't think there's anybody that really stands out in my mind right now.
How about Walton's friend?
You know who I would like to see? Norm Van Leer.
That would be good.
Norm Van Leer.
Storm and
Norman would be a perfect thing to look at, have a documentary about his life, his eccentric lifestyle off the court.
He was a high school quarterback in Pennsylvania and a really good one.
Oh, and listen, and a fighter. Yeah. A fighter. The clothes that he wore like in the 70s is
he used to hang out with the guys from Chicago and Mick Jagger.
He was Mick Jagger. He's friends with Mick Jagger. I mean,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah, it would be a good one. I would like to see a Norm Van Leer. So if someone wants a Chicago writer wants to do Norm Van Leer, that'd be awesome.
How about Sean Bradley?
Who?
Sean Bradley.
Yeah, well, he's had.
You could title it "What the Fuck."
Wow. The guy's not here anymore, man. Did he pass away, right? Sean Bradley?
He did?
Yeah, I think he did.
He had that horrible.
He had a back accident. Yeah. You're over here making jokes.
See, whispers again.
See, he's like, wow, you have
we'll fix it. We'll fix that.
Another crash and burn.
I told you. I guarantee
even more of a reason.
Wow.
Wow. Jeez.
Wow. My God.
All right, we're going to try to go to the next question.
Yeah, go next question, Mark.
You guys always make me feel bad.
This one comes from the Black Pope, 5424. My top free agents I've been looking at for the Bulls would be Nick Claxton, OG Anunoby, and Miles Bridges. For the draft, I'd like to see either trade up for Donovan Clingan, trade down for Zach Edey, or stay for Kyle Filipowski or Cody Williams. Stacey, what part of that you want to touch?
Well, the top free agents, you're not going to get OG. You're not going to get Miles Bridges.
And they don't have any money.
Yeah, they don't have any money.
Cap space, yeah.
Claxton, you might be able to be in the running for him. But he's going to have a lot of suitors too. Young big man that can run, rebound, offensive rebound.
Those are all good players, by the way, but we don't have any cap space.
We don't have any cap space. For the draft, Klingon, you can forget it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna. He's gone unless he just has bad workouts with teams.
Yeah.
I don't see him. I don't see him slipping. I'm still not on board with Zach Edey. I'm just not.
He has trouble changing ends of the floor.
Yes,
and you put him in space on pick and roll.
I'm listen. I'm watching Rudy Gobert struggle.
Yeah,
his defense player of the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm watching him struggle moving his feet, staying in front of guys. So, and he's a much better athlete than Zach Edey. Okay, let's just be real. Let's keep it 100. And he's struggling out there, moving his feet, staying in front of guards. So, if he's struggling, defense player of the year struggling, what do you think? What do you think Zach's going to have? I hope he does well because I think he's a good kid. I think if he gets in the right system, it depends where he goes, Mark, that they can player develop him and work with him. You can get faster. You can get quicker feet. Okay. You can become a better shooter. You can be a better rebounder. You can get stronger. So there's things in his game that he can work to improve and get better. But it's still, again, he's 7'4", and he hasn't shown the ability to change direction quick. He hasn't shown the ability to get up and down the floor as a 7-footer. A lot of work.
Cody Williams is an interesting name.
I like him.
He's a 6'8" forward out of Colorado. His older brother, Jalen Williams, J-Dub with Oklahoma City, really blew up this year. He could have been the most improved player, too. He had a fantastic season. So good bloodlines. He didn't put up big numbers at Colorado, but, given the family history, he'd be a guy that if he's there at 11, I'd jump on that.
Yeah, I mean, he might be the best. When you get down to that point, Mark's the best available player.
Mm-hmm.
Who the Bulls have as their top players at that particular pick, because there's going to be some people move up. There's going to be people move down. It happens every year. The kid we talked about last week from Serbia. I don't have his name right now, but that's the kid to watch out for.
Right.
The kid's 6'8", got good handles, kind of looks like a poor man's Luka Doncic, better athlete. That's something. What are you laughing at over there? You know what? This guy over here, man. He's this guy here, man. But anyway, there's going to be some guys move up, move down. There's going to have some guys that have bad workouts. So, and how much stock are teams putting in workouts compared to the overall body of work? Sometimes teams put a lot of stock in when they see him in their facility, and they say, "Oh, he had a bad workout," and then that guy ends up going somewhere else and starring somewhere else. You can't, in my opinion, you cannot make that be, the main factor of if this kid can play in your building and play with your team or not, just by his workout. You got to look at the body of work. If a guy's been in school 2-3 years, what did he do against certain teams? How did he match up against the best players at his position? Not just one day he came in and worked out against two other small forwards or whatever, didn't do well. You can't base it off that.
Or they could take Bronny James and then LeBron will.
Oh, hell no. I guarantee the Bulls are not taking Bronny James at 11. I will. If Bronny James gets picked at 11, Tim's going to walk around, run downtown on Wacker Street butt naked, looking like a lobster, and he's going to run down there butt naked if we get Bronny James 11.
And there's a guarantee that
I guarantee we don't want to see it.
Hey, we got one more question. This one from Jesse R. I'm not sure exactly what he's getting at, but he said, based off Stacey's time in the first three-peat, how does he think role players on the Mavericks feel right now? I don't know what he's getting at.
Is it the pressure or the?
Hey, don't forget it was the Bulls bench that led to championship number 2.
Listen, Mark, we don't need to toot my horn, okay? But here's the thing right now. Here's the thing, America. In order for teams to win championships, you have to have good benches. You look at the teams that are left. teams have great benches. If you don't have a good bench and you're only playing 6 guys, look at New York. Prime example. New York plays maybe 6, 7 guys. Thibodeau's been consistently done at his whole career as a coach, and they don't get to where they need to go. You have to have a deep bench. You got to have guys that are versatile that can play multiple positions. And these teams that are left in the Western Conference Finals, Dallas has a lot of good role players, a lot of good bench players that are playing big role, and so does Minnesota. And Boston has a good bench. So, I don't know about Indiana. Indiana's bench didn't really play too well. McConnell was probably their
He
bright
was
spot.
very good, yeah,
But the
DJ.
rest of those guys really kind of struggled in the playoffs. But you got to have a good bench.
Hey, one guy who's probably not real happy right now is Tim Hardaway Jr. He lost his minutes to James Hardy, the young guy that I think came from the G League Ignite. But, Hardaway's there cheering him on. I mean, he's thinking, yeah, let's get to the finals. It's more money for everybody.
Yeah, and you never know. You never know when you are counted on.
Maxi Kleber is back in the rotation.
Yeah, they're trying to tell him get in the huddle, baby. They're trying to stay united. But you never know when your number is going to be called, and they may need Hardaway Jr.'s shooting. They may need him to come in and knock some buckets in, and so his role may change in the finals, and he may become a hero in the finals. You never know. You just got to stay ready. When your number is called, no matter how many minutes you are playing on that team, you're playing for a championship. It's hard to get to that level. You're not going to see repeats for a while, I think, because Denver was the only team I thought you could see 2, maybe 2, maybe 3. But they're gonna remind me of the Spurs. They're gonna be a team that wins one every other odd year or something. So whatever their first title was that odd year?
Yeah, it was 23.
Okay, so they'll win it in 25.
Okay.
They're gonna be like that.
Guarantee.
They'll win it in 25. Because if you look at the Spurs never like won back-to-back championships.
No.
There hasn't been a lot of teams be able to do that. The Bulls are one of those teams that did it, but there hasn't been a lot of teams, other than the Lakers and the Celtics, the Bulls, Golden State. Did Golden State go back to back?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, they won once. But you're not guaranteed to win 2 and 3 in a row anymore. This is the league, because with the parity of the league, guys leaving free agency, it's hard to do.
Well, I see by the great rundown that our producer D came up with that Stacey wants to talk about the UFC. So this is the time for you and Whispers to
Whispers.
go at it.
Go ahead, Whispers.
Go
Do you know
ahead.
who's fighting?
I didn't watch it.
No, this is the weekend.
Well, this weekend?
Jesus. Somebody put an alarm clock.
Hey, tell your kids they can come, but they
Yeah.
can't come
They
empty-handed.
Can't come empty-handed.
I thought you were talking about last weekend.
No, Islam, baby.
Oh, Islam Makhachev. Yeah, I did see the preview for that.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be a big fight because this is probably Dustin's 4 years
yeah.
last fight. He's already made it clear that he's gonna retire, which kind of scares me because when you go into a fight, a title fight against a killer like Islam, and you're already talking about retirement, how ready are you to actually fight? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I heard Daniel Cormier talk about that. When fighters come in knowing this is their last fight, they may not train as properly as they would if it was like, fight 10 or fight 15. He's been a big seller in the UFC, and it's going to be tough to see him leave because he's an exciting fighter. He knocks people out. He's a must-see every time he's been out there. He's Conor McGregor right now is probably sitting there kicking himself because this guy's won the trilogy between them. So that's something that people wanted to see. And then, like I said, there's Sean Strickland is versus Costa. This is gonna be a good fight. Strickland, I like Strickland because Strickland talks a lot of trash, and he's like a guy's guy. And this is gonna be a good fight. Costa is probably the more talented of the two fighters. He's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's got striking power, but Strickland is just a tough dude.
You have to kill him.
Yeah, Strickland is a guy like you got to
to
kill
kill
him. He's like a roach. You step on him, and then you walk away, and you think he's dead. And then come back, and he's running around again. That's him. He refuses to lose. He refuses to go down, and you literally got to carry him out the cage. So that's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that fight.
That's pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view, and then you got Kevin Holland, and this is going to be a boring fight.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of talking. Oloshi, whatever his name is, Loshi Shunk, whatever his name is. Yeah, say that 3 times. Candyman. But Holland is a talented guy, but it's for some reason he's never reached his potential. So that's gonna kind of be a boring fight.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be paying for that. So
No.
I'll tell you what you can watch. Check it out on Netflix. It's a show about a cynical sobriety counselor. His name is Sam Loudermilk, and this guy is unbelievable. He's got this support group of the oddest characters you ever want to see. They meet in the basement of a church, and then they're talking about their problems dealing with sobriety, but he does it in a really comical way. The episodes are only about a half hour each. It's a good laugh, light show. It's a lot of fun. So check it out. It's on Netflix called Loudermilk. Stacey, what do you got?
Boy Kills World. It's out on the theaters now, but I got it early. I can't tell you where I got it in America.
That's all right. Don't give away your secrets.
Yeah, I have Men in Black knocking on my door. But I watched this. This is a kind of a. This movie is like kind of a John Wick, Quentin Tarantino. A lot of blood and gore and killing, and man, it's really really like high action. Not believable, but it's a good. You got Skarsgård here, Bill Skarsgård. He's the star of the show. It's about a guy whose mother's like this big time. It's kind of like the Hunger Games. It's kind of like starts off like the Hunger Games. She's like the main person, the bad person, and she has a daughter and a son, and they end up killing a opposition guy, killed his family, and she made her son do it, who was probably about 9 years old, made him hold a gun and shoot the family. So the guy who's the opposition, he lived and got away, and basically kidnapped him and turned him into a psycho killer, made him go deaf. He can't talk. Cut his tongue out, like just really abused him, but then turned him into a killer to go back after his mother. That was the whole thing. He turned the child against his mother, made him forget who his mother was, and he literally forgot who his mother was until the very end. But it's a great show. A lot of blood. If you like blood and gore, check it out.
To keep the kids away. Did you see speaking of boy, you see The Boys is coming back with the new season real soon?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows coming back.
Yeah.
The Boys and then the House of Dragon. House of Dragons coming back, boy. If y'all not Game of Thrones fans, baby, y'all better jump on the bandwagon.
And Power Force will be coming back in the fall.
Oh, man. Listen, man. I've been binge watching The Chi America. Listen, if you haven't seen The Chi, I'm telling you, go binge the 6 seasons of The Chi. It's amazing. It's amazing. One of the best written shows, kind of like The Wire, Sopranos. It's just so many things going on. And for us who live in Chicago, when you can easily relate to it.
Right.
You can easily relate to everything that goes on in every episode.
Whispers, what do you got?
Watching Fallout on Prime.
Oh.
You heard of that?
No, tell us about it.
Post-apocalyptic, so 200 and some years after the nukes go off and how they set it up, and it's based on corporate America that was selling the vaults.
Okay.
For people to stay and let their radiation die down while the craziness goes on the surface. And why would they cause a war? Because corporations can sell more vaults. And it's kind of based on
kind of real story going on out here in America, man.
That would never happen here.
And I also saw the Planet of the Apes movie.
What'd you think?
On a scale of 5 stars being the best and 1 star being 0 being the worst, 2.
Okay.
2 America. Because it's confusing. If you watch all the newer versions of the movies, this one was totally different. You get lost from the very beginning. You don't know if Caesar's dead or alive. Then I find out from somebody. Shout out to Jack Conway, my little friend, that told me I'm shouting him out because he told me what the scenario, how it happened, because I was lost. I was lost in the movie, but he told me that when Caesar died, it happens. The new monkeys 200 years later. Okay. Now the humans are like animals. And then there's some humans that have escaped. If you remember the one with Woody Harrelson, remember the last one with Woody Harrelson? Mm-hmm. Okay. Woody Harrelson's bullet was supposed to kill Caesar. Okay. And then some of those people escaped, and then they started their own little colonies. But the rest of the people, the gorillas caught, and the monkeys caught them, and they made them into pets and stuff. So it's kind of like recycles how it was when we saw Charlton Heston and them when they landed on the Planet of the Apes, and it's kind of recycles back to that. But it was confusing in the beginning, but I gave it a 2.
Yes, we'll wait, Mark.
All right.
Yeah, just wait. It comes out on Fire Stick.
Oh, special premiere. Special premiere at the King.
Woo!
Hey, we want to thank everybody for sending in their questions. Remember, you can do that. We're going to have a regular feature throughout the week answering your questions about the Bulls the NBA draft and free agency and anything else on your mind. So you can send them to our Twitter account or Instagram, and our guy Nick will take care of it. Make sure that we have some of the best ones and bring that to you on the air. Before we get out of here, you mentioned Mike was at the cookout. He's also waiting in the parking lot, but tell folks how they can take care of their transportation needs if they want to get some service from Windy City.
I thought you'd never ask.
All right.
Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact them at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300. And it's WindyCityLimos.com. And as for Mike Amarov, if you need an excellent driver, a guy who's a 4th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, Jeet Kune Do, he knows it all, ladies and gentlemen. He's only 5'2", but he knows everything.
And from now on, he's going to have a box of hot sauce in his vehicle
in his
all
car.
times.
And he got a new truck. Shout out to Mike. And man, Mike's new truck is sweet.
Good.
Sweet.
Nice.
You saw
nice.
it?
Yeah,
It's
very
real nice. Shout out to Mike. Yeah, he got rid of his 1924 Hyundai truck and got a new truck. Oh, baby. It was like the Flintstones in the old truck, baby. We had to stop the car with our feet. Way to go, Mike. We love you, boy. The Doublemint Twins will see you this weekend.
I want to thank our great production team, D and Cisco and Nick, doing great work. And we want to
good job, boys.
Ask you to like and subscribe on YouTube and the various podcast platforms as we try to grow our show heading into the fall and the start of a new bull season. We thank everybody for listening and watching. And until next week,
drive home safely, Chicago. Beat.